Oh, my camera's so low. What's going on here? What's going on here, camera? Camera? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to... It's cold in here. I've got my jacket on. Welcome back to some Dark Deity 2. We are... This might be the last mission. It feels like it's gonna be the last mission. We had like the everyone gets to say their last like little peppy piece, etc., etc. We got some bonds. Let's check some bonds. Get some gold there. Get some gold here. Get a sapphire in conversation. What are you doing? Oh, goodness. Are you speaking to me? We're the only two people here, so yes, I'm speaking to you. Right. That's kind of the point. I enjoy having some time away from the others at night. Gives me a chance at some peace and quiet to think things through. Thinking, huh? What kind of thinking? The kind that's none of your business. You're intruding upon my privacy. Why so standoffish? Have I done something to offend? Besides, of course, interrupting your thinking time. I suppose not you in particular. Just your garb, your way of fighting. It's all too familiar to me and my people. Ah, that's what this is about then. It's true, Mirador, being so close to Madural, is often called upon to aid in repelling orcish incursions. I participated in no small number of such battles. I suppose you resent me for it then? No. To defend your allies' homes like that is commendable. It's just a sadness. Sadness? What way, besides the obvious? They're all obvious to me, Mashal. The raids on the western coast have done so much harm. To the lives of the Veroan people, to the lives of my own, the very idea of peace itself. There are so many of your kind who hate mine. The worst part is, I don't know how to convince them they're wrong. Not when they get proven right so often. You're not wrong. The wounds left by the Dreadnought tribes cut deep. Dreadnought tribes? Jesus. Deeper than any mere blade ever could. Those are the kinds of cuts that do not heal. But they must. If allowed to fester, then peace may never be possible. That's why I'm here. I have to do something. Anything. If they ever heal at all, Lurai, it will take generations. Perhaps longer even than our lifetimes. So long. You truly believe? I do. It would take a miracle to move the needle on this any sooner. It's a heavy burden you bear. One I do not envy you for carrying alone. Alone. I don't understand why it has to be this way. Doesn't everybody wish for a peaceful life? Of course. For some, they will forever view your people as a threat to that peace. A threat that can only be resolved with violence. Is that really what people think? I mean, the orcs from across the ocean literally come here on boats to pillage. So, yeah, kinda. Yes, well, my apologies for the disturbance. I'll leave you to your thoughts. Yar. Oh! Okay, cool. Bonds are done. Abilities. We've got some ability stuff. We are... If this is the final battle, we're gonna go out in style. We've got 21,000. We're gonna buy an elixir of fortitude. We'll buy an elixir of defense. Buy speed. We'll buy luck. Can I sell things? I can sell things. Can I get to that last little bit? Probably not. Not without selling weapons. Sell some weapons. I don't care. About these broadswords. Alright, sweet. Bye. Elixir of Might. What do we have as far as elixirs go? Gwen gets the fortitude.
That'll have to do.
It's fine. Go ahead and just give Gwen the defense as well.
That'll have to do.
Probably Eve is our luck girl, so she can have
Steady is the blade that never dulls.
And the speed.
Steady is the blade that never dulls.
And she also doesn't hit very hard, so I might just give her my might.
Steady is the blade that
Because I'm not
never
gonna hem and
dulls.
haw over everything. We're gonna save on an offset that we, just in case. Yeah, honestly, don't really care. Well, I mean, we can maximize so much more by, you know, figuring out exactly who we think are our favorites, etc., etc. Wait, that's not a hit. Who actually has good HP? Gwen has good HP. Gwen can take the anti. Bloodied. Who's probably our top 10? Gwen, Haran, Eve, Saxon, Kamari, Daniil, Arthur, maybe Cassandra. Arthur have a ring he wants to steal? Steal from... One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Dude, who's our 8, 9, 10? Question. I really like Valeria, but she kind of gets dropped. Probably Cassandra in at 8. Mari means that we don't really have a crazy other tank. I would probably just throw Zuhair in there as just a consistently good tank. I'd probably throw Viserion in there too, because he's just so useful with fucking buff. So Zuhair can go in. Make her an even crazier dodge tank. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably. Aya's probably up there in favorites, but I don't know. It's whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's jump in.
The end has come.
Okay, well that definitely
Emperor
sounds
Orlov,
final.
Perhaps out of pride, perhaps out of madness, has traded all the lives in Toralis for a chance at victory. The Order has come to grant him the same death he so wantonly wields against them. To put a stop to the man who would destroy Varroa as they know it. To finally end the war that has taken so much from so many.
You wouldn't know it from the outside, but this place is huge. Are you sure this is the way to the throne room?
I'm positive, lass. Positive. Or, at least I was. It's like the whole place is put together wrong.
More magic. Another present from Orlov, no doubt.
This is no mere magic.
Alden, you feel it too, don't you? Are we back in Astralis?
Viserion, is there any place in the palace that would allow us to look outside?
Yes. A balcony, yes. It should be.
Good. Picture it in your mind's eye, clearly, and lead on.
Right. Follow me. Black Abyss. What happened?
No.
I don't remember Astralis looking like this.
Because it's not
Our little
Astralis.
trips through Kira's rifts looked more like a whole lot of stars. So, if we're not there, then where?
This cannot be possible.
Uncle? You look ill.
I've seen this place once before. This is... We are in Death's domain.
What does that mean? I thought we were in the palace.
It means that the Emperor is toying with forces he does not understand. Or that those forces are toying with him.
I don't understand. It took Empyrean a lifetime to accomplish even half this much. I know the Weave is weakened, but...
Imperium broke through the Weave by force. You cannot break into Death's domain. You must be... invited.
Uncle,
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
how do you know so much about this place? You said you've seen it before. Does that mean...
I pray you never learn the cost of power as I did. Such truths are better left buried. I will say no more than that.
You can have your secrets, old friend. But if you have knowledge of this place...
Yeah, I don't feel like Alden's
we
gonna
could
live
use it.
through all this.
I know enough to bring us to the throne room. Is that enough for you?
It's enough for me. We'll follow your lead.
Right. Viserion, if you would do as you did for the balcony and picture the palace for me.
If you think it'll help.
It will. Let us go.
Looks like the place. This is it then.
Be wary, Gwyn. It would seem our foe has no shortage of surprises for us.
Right. Speaking of... Orloff! Show yourself! There's nowhere left to run!
Sildarin, it would seem not even the Weave is enough to impede you. How enviably stubborn.
Did you really think a locked door would stop me? You should know better by now.
Yes, I should.
Enough taunting. Tell us, now. What have you done?
Only what I had to ensure Asvarel would live on.
Live on? Is that what you call this? These shambling corpses...
I was gonna say, you're doing a bang-up job there, buddy.
Asvarel is not a people.
Wow.
Asvarel is a dream, a history, an ideal. When faced with the death of my people and the fate you'd inflict, I took the deal I was offered.
A deal? With who?
You're a smart boy. Surely you've caught on by now.
You made a pact with death.
All warriors sign such a pact written blood with a steel quill. All I have done is make our partnership official.
You have a lot to answer for, Orlov. I thought this war to be the peak of your madness, but to sacrifice all of Turalis.
A regret I shall carry with me forevermore.
Regret? You
Regret.
killed them! Forced them to fight for you like puppets dancing on strings. You've denied them even the peace of death.
There is no peace in death, boy. Has your brother's death brought peace to this world? Has my daughter's? No.
Daughter's
Death
not dead.
is violent, even when it comes softly.
Not
and
that you seem to
swiftly.
care about it.
Just as a poison kills precisely as the blade does. We, more than anyone on Varroa, know this truth. That is why we wage war. There is no peace. Only a lesser violence. Tell me, if you even can, when your crusade is won, what peace will Asvarel find beneath the boot of her neighbors?
With you gone, this war will be over. The fighting can finally end, and we can rebuild. All of us.
And will Varroa come to rebuild Azeroth as it burns in our wake? Do you believe their kings to be so magnanimous?
Well, I mean, we didn't.
Of course not.
We didn't
They will bleed us
utterly
dry
destroy
and drag each other down
Azrael
to
when we
hell
marched
for a
on it,
chance to
unlike
drink
you
the
did with
deepest.
Britannia.
You know this. And yet, you continue to delude yourself. Continue to believe unity can be coaxed from their sordid herds. Without a firm hand to hold the reins, Varroa will continue to follow the laws of beasts, scavengers, fighting over a bloated carcass.
And you think yours is the firmest grip in the land? You who would sacrifice everything, even your own daughter, to save your own skin.
I am the only one to see beyond the petty borders and noble trifles. What others see as patchwork, I see as tapestry, torn. I will mend that which has been frayed. I will make this land whole.
He drank
as
too
it
much of his own
deserves
Kool-Aid.
to be, because nobody else can.
He drank way
You
too
know,
much
you're
of his
not
own
wrong.
Kool-Aid.
Not entirely, anyway. I've met more than my share of kings for one lifetime. I'm unimpressed. But I've also met people who do what the kings can't. People who save lives, who inspire hope.
He is bringing Varroa together
Leaders.
by being such a shitty
Heroes.
person.
They put those kings to shame. All of them. Even you. Because you're just like all the rest. Just another coward with a crown. You have given so much away already. And for what? To stave off the end? Your end? Just a little while longer? The truth is, the lives you've thrown away were never yours to give. Your job was to protect them. And you failed. You failed because you were afraid. So afraid you gave up your life, your real life, out of fear of death. But you feared the wrong foe. Look at you. Death won, and you're still standing. I won't be as merciful.
You speak as though you'd already won. I fear you will find we have but one thing in common, Seldarin. I, too, am very, very stubborn. Far too stubborn to be brought to heel by some petty speech. All that remains is our final battle.
Funny, I was just thinking the same thing.
I'm gonna smoke this guy.
You plan on fighting us alone?
So many of those corpses.
Yeah, he really rolled out the red carpet for us, didn't he? Good to see he hasn't
What's up with the
forgotten his
massive
manners.
tornado?
While he's drawing power from those crystals, we won't be able to get to him.
What would you have us do?
We need to bring them down, along with the mages controlling them.
Doesn't matter how many hoops we have to jump through. Leonid Orlov dies today. Warriors of the Order, we fight for all of Varroa. And for Rearden. Now, to arms!
You okay? Defeat undead magi. What? What? This is better be the final battle. Defeat. We got 40 turns. This is definitely gonna be a multi-part thing, right? It's not defeat these undead magi in 40 turns. Okay, not prep. Or army deployment, rather. Alright, get rid of the peeps we're not taking. Bring in the peeps we are taking. Okay. I think that is the good. Not prep. You over there, you over there. Again! Death Pulse? Look, yo. Death Pulse? Units will die on player phase. Gotcha. Okay, well then. Game said, look, we're not fucking around this time. Oh, yike. Yeah, we can plug that gap with Zuhair, and we will do so.
Who's next?
Maximize our options here.
And fight!
Then attack.
Thanks for protecting me.
42 and 42. He's got 52. Hot. Okay, he's got 47. Yep. I still feel fine about this. Do we want a shield? I kind of want a shield. Abilities.
I'll protect you.
shield. Attack.
Dying's not so bad.
Nice, we crit.
Woo! Look at the moves.
Okay, we're gonna ability, and we are going to absolute
All eyes
zero
on
here.
me.
Seven. We will still take damage from this guy. Not much. 15, 16. Okay, so we can attack there if need be. How do we want to play this left side? What are we looking at?
You sure?
Easy
Easy target.
guys. Very easy to kill.
Guide me.
He's got 100.
We need to move.
So if we come over here and we Lunar Read,
Be gone.
won't kill him, but it will stack power. And then we can swing, kill. He won't get a hit back, so he will not pop one of our shields. Very nice.
I just can't stop getting better.
HP, might, and dexterity for Zuhair. Okay, so very easy
You have been found
kill
wanting.
here.
Just another sinner. Steady is the blade
HP,
that
speed,
never
and dexterity.
dulls.
We can come here and get a. You know what? I
I'll see
want
it done.
to get a free hit here. So we get a stack of
This one's mine.
shield for Gwen.
Oh my. Always moving.
Then we move in here and we are going to Capuchin to easy kill this guy.
The wheel stands strong.
Yep,
Spreading
very
my
nice.
Not bad.
We will
Not
preemptive
alone.
heal on Kamari. And then Kamari will come in and you're looking at 47, 47, 47. He's popping 41. He will not give a shit. And he will wreath themselves in flames so that they might begin to break themselves upon him. Feels like a good first round.
One more step
HP
towards ascension.
defense on Kamari. Nice to get more defense for different things. is Tuesday. Unfortunately, she attacks first, so probably gonna pop our shields. So we will take some damage from this guy. Not much though.
Get a tango,
And I
baby.
have no idea why he walked into range of us, but we'll take that. That's a easy hit for us. Alright, sweet. Okay, so I think we will just
As you command.
save his mana.
Death comes. Justice descends! A clean kill.
Easy peasy.
I'll do it. Be gone. I can feel something calling me.
HP, speed, dex, defense, fortitude, mastery, and luck. Very nice, Arthur. Very
Coming.
nice.
I'll protect you.
Let's dance.
Alright, what are we baiting in? 43, 43. I think we're good to just say fuck it to literally everyone over here. Okay, what are we thinking? Probably just zap? Do we need to zap though? That's the question. That is the question. Probably we don't need to, but I think it
Stay there.
makes the situation far easier. And it's just fun to do!
Am I getting it?
Saxon, HP, Dex, and Mastery. Very nice.
Guide me.
Be decisive.
Now we do have to worry about all of the fizz. We don't want to pull everything in existence. Each of these... How old is Odie? Mappa! How old is Odie? Like 27? He's what? Is he? Casey says he's like 7-ish. He's definitely not 27. That would be insanity. 45, 34. Pretty rough. 45, 34. He's going to be taking 11 every hit. That's 22 per person. So that's 66 damage that he would be taking if we try to pull all. But we can't actually take 66 because they can't hit him from those directions. So we'll take a chunk, but we should be able to heal it very easily afterwards. Buggy 9? Buggy is 9. Odie is 27. Odie is 7. Tiny Baby is...
Well, Odie's probably close.
Okay. Gotcha. So both Buggy and Odie... Buggy's a little over 9. Odie's a little over 7. Tiny Baby is a little over 6 months.
Months ain't going by at all.
That's why I said a little over 6 months.
How is he still not
I feel like he's had forever.
I'm so over it.
Oh ya!
Oh,
seeing this
2
or
HP,
what?
1 speed, 1 fortitude, 1 mastery, 1 luck. Didn't ask for him. So over him. He doesn't contribute anything. Wow.
Bucky. Something. Bucky does something.
What do you mean, what does he do? What does Odie do that he doesn't do?
They should fear you.
This all sounds like bullshit. And he likes hand pillows. Okay.
Bucky. Hi, Bucky.
Yeah.
There's a baby though. I don't know. I can see. Oh.
Not wrong in that regard.
What is your bidding?
You're not
You are not
wrong
alone.
in that regard.
I can do this.
It's time.
Crush them underfoot.
Crush him underfoot, eh? Yep, fine there. What are we looking at over here?
The spirits favor me today.
HP, Might, and Dex.
Yes? Be gone!
Battle calls.
Likely not to matter because of crits, but guaranteed if we throw this.
Justice descends!
Not gonna matter because of crits.
Just another sinner.
Oh, well, fair enough.
I'm moving. All eyes on me.
Take a little bit of damage, but that'll be fine.
They will know fear.
4 damage.
Care to dance?
He crits so much for only having 19 crit. Like, goddamn. Like, okay.
I'm moving.
We'll just move here to see if that baits him.
I'll do it.
We'll keep stacking.
Be gone.
Alright. Crystal is now charged up.
Yep, yep.
Alright, what do we got going on here?
I can do this. Easy target.
On the path.
Daniel's so busted. Daniel!
Spreading my wings.
2 HP, 1 bite, 1 defense, 1 mastery. Who needs to crit when you can just send a monkey at someone? Like, okay. 23 speed. We will get outsped there if we do that. It's fine, we're gonna do it anyways.
Don't get in my way.
We gain a bit of shield from the kill. And we'll go ahead and make her
Not alone.
and she should be fine. Did we not get outsped? How did we not get outsped? That's highly questionable to me.
So clumsy.
You don't get a second attack, you just die. What? Poor choices. Yeah, 23 speed. 19 speed? Why do you have 19 speed?
Right.
We boosted your speed, yes, but... Oh! You have 19 speed because of the bloodied ring! Yeah, you're actually kind of stacked now. Huh. Wow. Yeah, she's kind of fucking stacked now. What? Cool. Red Capuchin here. If this is the last required mage, I want to see what happens.
Unnecessary end.
Okay, it looks like that is not the last required mage. But this one is.
Don't waste my time.
Keep the wreath in flames up.
Power beyond
Damn, 2 HP, 1 might, 1 speed, 1 dex, 1 fortitude, and 1 mastery. Truly outrageous.
Let's get it done.
I move on up in preparation. Got 2 people that can attack, but I mean, I can pull them both. $747. This might be overly aggressive.
This'll be fun. All eyes on me.
You made a grave error.
We need to move. Be gone! The sky's the limit.
2 HP, 1 might. Okay, this is a lot of question marks. Obviously, it feels like all of these little things are going to be spawners, right? So that is an issue. Roll
You
the
have
crit.
been found
Got
wanting.
crit. Okay. Great.
Damn good technique.
Yep, yep.
This'll be fun.
Let's move in here,
Alrighty.
and I shall.
I'll protect you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we can't get there. 5, 6. There. Does this work? Oh, we can get there.
Visarion! Of all my servants, I had always believed you would be the last to betray me. How disappointing. Leonid, I've known you since you were a boy. Don't quite know when you became whatever you are now. What changed? The same thing that happened to you. I grew older, wiser. We both tasted the fruit of life and found it bitter.
Yeah?
Fate took our families from us, Visarion. Our lives. Or have you already forgotten? No, Leonid. No. What happened to your wife was a tragedy. But you took mine from me. I never forgot. Then I suppose it cannot be helped. No, it can't.
Okay. Noted. We did no damage to him. We did damage to the shadow. Alright, all damage that we do to him is instead going to his shadow, which means he has a very large health pool.
Right. I'll see it done.
It's going to be an attrition fight. As his reinforcements come in, we're going to have to clear them up. We're going to have to dance. make sure we don't get instant popped. Okay. I see the thread. I see the game. I see how the game is to be played. It's gonna take a while if that's how we're plinking them down. But we get some of our heavy hitters in there, and I think it'll go quite significantly faster. HP, Dex, Defense, Fortitude, and Mastery. Okay, how do we want to run this? This is mostly just going to be people getting into position this turn, I think. Let's see, rocking. 52. Magic.
Listen.
Okay. Go ahead and pop in here.
Not alone.
Go ahead and do this. Maybe we need to remove the space a banned term. That seems to be constant across all of those. That could be good. Yeah. Give me a reason to actually log into my Nightbot, which I have not done in far too long. I am also very glad for that. Oh, that's cheap. That's cheap, game. It won't let us. It won't let us double up damage by picking the space in between them. That's kind of cheesy. That's kind of cheesy. Can we come down here and just start nuking these guys? We can. It's fine to me. You made it 40 years without having to go to a friend's funeral. You really don't want to break that streak? I got bad news for you, buddy. I got bad news for you, buddy. Every year that goes by, yeah, it's not gonna be great. Alright, let's just toss. This is gonna hurt. Some damage back though.
Okie dokie.
I'm moving.
Yeah, burn him to death, Kamari.
Towards ascension.
HP, Defense, Fortitude, and Luck. Okay, what's the dance? Oh, shit, stance. Okay, that's not great. We will move in here, and we will...
Be gone!
Do that. Oh, we can't move on to those circles either. That's pretty interesting. I'm assuming we can't yoink him. Yeah, the game won't let us yoink him either. Sadness. Hero. Did we get any? We didn't get any reinforcements from anywhere else. That's kind of weird. I really expected us to get more reinforcements. There probably will get them when we kill these two. Which is fine. We'll probably just go ahead and do that.
Yes! I can't
HP,
believe
might, speed, defense, fortitude, mastery, luck. Hello.
They should be running. On it.
Alrighty.
Actually, just gonna hold off on his attacks. I have concerns about moving someone like Zanil in, part of the issue, or Gwen. He won't outspeed her, so he'll only get one attack, so Zanil is probably fine.
Fight as one!
All good.
They should fear you. What is your bidding? Take my strength.
Slowly bleeding over. Started to play the first Berserker Kazan today. Nice. Yes, it is very Neo-like. Okay, next two come from over there. Interesting. Alright, it's this side's turn to get in on the action. I say that, but I mean, I think basically everyone can get over here.
Be decisive. I'll see it done.
Let's get it done.
What is your bidding? You are not alone.
Be gone.
Getting stronger and stronger there. He has a 0% chance to hit her. We'll take it.
Death will purify you.
Yeah.
You have been found wanting. This will hurt.
Oh, we got the ricochet. Nice. We got all of the crits. Hella.
Steady is the blade
HP,
that
might,
never
speed,
dies.
and luck. Nice job,
Look at the
Eve.
moves.
Shit.
Stand and fight!
I'm moving. All eyes on me. I just can't stop getting better.
HP, might, defense. Pretty nice.
I'll protect you.
You have been found wanting.
We got Ricochet again.
Death will purify you.
1, 2. Oh, we didn't get all 3
This will
crits.
hurt.
Oh! We got 3 crits plus
You
an
have
extra.
been found wanting.
We just attacked 5 times on Eve.
This will hurt.
6 times. 7 times. Eve just beat his ass. Eve just beat the shit out of that man. Holy fuck. That was disgusting. Chain lightning him. Nice. We can chain lightning him. No, she apparently does not stop. That was pretty disgusting, wasn't it? That was pretty damn disgusting, wasn't it?
Justice descends.
We got a Ricochet. Only 3 that time. So she has Ricochet, 20% chance. Each attack has a 20% chance to hit again. I've never had it go that many. I've never gotten that lucky. But that was pretty awesome. Thoroughly enjoyed that one.
Fight as one!
Crush them underfoot.
You're gonna love this! So clumsy!
Double crit on Suhair. Okay, game. Game's just like, what you got, fam? What you got? Oh, we're so close.
Oh my.
Who's next?
Alright, that's coming off next turn, so we'll
Yep.
we'll hold there.
Let me help.
We'll just save mana.
We must be swift.
And here we will chain heal.
Take my strength.
I hate it that it does that. Those characters did not need heals. Like, chain heal needs better, like, targeting. Kamario should be fine, but if he's not, he's an angry man now anyways, so. Okay, goes for Zanil instead. I should be able to kill him this turn. HP, Dexterity, and Fortitude for Zanil. But I don't know if this is... Like, this is Phase 2. I don't know if there's a Phase 3 or anything. I'm thinking there's gonna be a Phase 3. With there being... Oh! Did we misjudge? We must have misjudged. That's fine. We'll kill these guys too.
Found wanting. Just another sinner.
Okay, so gotta do a little bit of stancing here.
Be gone.
To make sure these two are dead and don't cause us any problems. Come in here and we will cut them down.
I always win. That'll have to do.
HP, Dex, and Mastery. Easy peasy. Okay, the range is not correct. It's not counting that as a bot, and it should be.
One more step towards ascension.
HP and might. Okay, attacking with Zuhair now will increase the damage that he takes.
All eyes on me.
Pretty drastically. He won't outspeed us. He's only going to hit us once, so it won't be that chunky of a hit. Oh, it won't be any hit, right? Because we have the... So the next time he hits us, it won't be that chunky of a hit.
I just can't stop getting better.
Hold nothing back.
Thanks for protecting me. Let me help.
Who's next?
Oh, come on, get those crits. Get those crits.
Death will purify.
There we go. There we go.
Steady is the blade that never dulls.
That's fortitude and luck. 25. My dude, that is in kill range for the monkey.
Get them!
Goodbye, Shadow!
Spreading my
HP 2,
wings.
Might, Speed, and Mastery. There's no more Shadow. It's just the Emperor now. Nice.
Listening. You are not alone.
I really want Gwen. She can't make it. That's fine.
I'll do it.
Arthur is just as good a person to seal the deal here. You know what?
We need to
Yeah,
move.
we'll do Arthur.
Be gone.
I hope the elders will approve now.
The sky's the limit.
Zanil? Zanil got that? Defense and mastery on Arthur. How did Zanil... Oh, wow. Zanil actually dealt the most damage. I didn't really feel like she was doing it, but she did. Holy shit. Yeah, alright. Let's see. Is this the end?
Oh, finally. He comes to claim me. After so much torment, I am taunted with one final failure. What sick cruelty.
Orlov, it's over.
Yes, well, yes. It is. It's all finally over. My daughter. I know she's alive.
Right? Kira's
And?
still up.
Death has haunted my life from the very first. From the moment he took my wife from us.
You did the best. Okay, well,
I did the best I could.
what your best was. Yeah, there you go.
That was for Reardon!
I don't know if the second and third ones were necessary, Gwen. The fourth one definitely wasn't necessary.
That was for me!
Gwyn, it's time to go.
He deserves worse.
Maybe he does. But there's no guarantee it's safe to stay here.
You saw what E was
Quite
doing?
the
It's only
opposite,
fair.
actually.
Yeah.
I can guarantee it's not. With Orloff gone, there's nothing holding this place together.
Then how do we get out?
We need open sky. Viserion!
Aye. There's a tower we can climb. Highest point in Azrael, they say.
That'll work nicely.
Then come on! Let's move it, people!
Is the castle load bearing?
Go on, hurry! Nobody's
Considering
getting
this
left
whole
behind
place is
today.
like
Everybody up the
transported into the realm of
Stairs.
death, I don't know that anything is load bearing.
Yeah. You know, if Reardon were here.
Reardon is gonna be here.
Right.
Just once, could the building wait until we're already outside to start collapsing?
All right, Alden. Time to work your magic.
Already on it, but something's resisting me. Or someone.
You think our friend's boss has noticed us?
If so, we've got bigger problems than a long fall ahead of us.
If it's anything like the door from earlier...
Then we won't be able to open the way ourselves.
Alden, stop the spell.
Are you? If we don't leave...
I know.
I trust him. Do what he says.
Reardon's gonna help us out.
I knew it.
Everyone get in! I'll pull up the rear!
Oh, that's a
Come on,
Kira.
Arthur.
You know how usually you're the one taking the big risks?
Yeah? What do you... Wait!
He just...
I'll be right behind you.
Oh, no.
How and why did you do that?
How? I guessed and got it right. As for why, I'm not really sure, honestly. I suppose I had a hunch.
I thought you were the smart one. Good to see annoying prick runs in the family.
You were going to
It does.
close the rift behind us, weren't you? You were going to stay behind. After everything we did to save you, to give you a second chance, you were about to throw it all away. For what? Pride? Guilt?
Your uncle's right. Nobody gets in here without being let in first. I've been looking for another way for years.
Mama.
There's somebody I have to find. This could be my last chance to go searching.
Your mother.
It wasn't an invitation to guess.
Then you'd let the same madness that killed your father kill you as well? Even knowing where this path leads?
That's not...
Open another rift. You're coming back to Terrazel, alive.
to Terrazel? And what, I wonder, awaits me there? Rotting in a Gratanian prison? Death by Asbarelian mob? What's the point? I've lived my whole life in exile. I hated it. This could be my only chance. There's nothing left for me but this.
Don't pretend you're staying here out of any sense of purpose. You don't know how this place works, where to start looking. You don't even know how you'll survive the palace collapsing. You would stay here to die. You're giving up.
I am not giving up.
Then prove it. Prove me wrong and live. Open the rift.
Just stick close to me. We're gonna be cutting it close.
Lead the way.
I really expected a Reardon action there.
I don't understand what he's thinking. How could he be so reckless?
Arthur, you stupid, stupid boy. You better be here soon so I can tear you a goddamn new one.
I have faith in him. I don't know what he stayed behind for, but whatever it is, he must have thought it was important. So I have faith in him.
You're right. Of course you're right. I'm just...
Terrified?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm back.
Think Gwen's going to handle another loss? I don't. Yeah,
Hi, Dad.
absolutely not.
Sorry,
I don't think any of
Dad.
them are going to handle another
You
loss.
scared the daylights out of me. When Gwyn told me what you'd done.
I know. I didn't have much time to think about it.
What happened in there?
Do you mind if I keep it to myself?
Yes, I do. But
No,
won't
motherfucker,
force
tell
you.
us!
you did what you had to do, right?
Yeah. I think I did.
Then you did good. Just next time, warn me a bit sooner, okay? I mean, that shove really wasn't necessary.
Yeah, it was.
She's upset because you sprained her ankle. Turns out the rift wasn't quite level with the ground on the other side.
By like
The
10
mighty
feet.
commander of the order brought low by tripping. What is the world coming to?
Okay, we can leave that part out of the history books, alright? It could be fun trivia for the Cosmere snobs.
Hey, that's not fair. Cosmere's arcanists are far more snobbish than the historians.
Father?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just... This is what I was fighting for. I'm... enjoying the moment.
You're right. Tomorrow, for the first time in a long time, there won't be any more fighting.
Don't
Just
jinx it,
another
Gwen!
day.
Those nerds are way nerdier than
Another
these
day.
nerds. Another day without Reardon. Epilogue. Another day. Oh,
So
shit.
you finally decided to take my advice, huh?
Only for the moment. I didn't realize how tired I was getting.
Everyone else did. We even told you.
I know. I'd say it's nice to have a chance to just breathe, but it feels like there's still so much to do.
Always feels like there's more to do.
I swear I've been talking to diplomats since the second Orlov hit the floor.
Guess we made our bed with all our talk of rebuilding. Time to lie in it.
Or alternatively, we can lie here, in the shade.
Huh. Good idea. I should have thought about that.
That's why I'm the brains of the operation.
Ah, there you are. Hiding from your adoring fans, then? Take my advice, just send them to Irving. He lives for this kind of thing.
They'll have to get in line. He's even busier than we are.
Was it the same way for you after the Empyrean War?
Oh, not really. I was too young for the diplomats. It was the magical elite that wanted to make my acquaintance. You can imagine I
I'm
was
happy that
less
Alden's
than
not dead.
thrilled. What child wants to spend their days with a bunch of stodgy old wizards?
And now you're one of them. Must feel terrible.
I'm not that old. I'm not even 40 yet.
Speaking of the magical elite, you haven't changed your mind yet, have you?
No, I'm afraid not. As much as I'll miss you two, my talents are needed in Cosmere. It's too important.
You should write letters. It might help Reardon learn how to read. I'm sorry. I forgot. For a moment.
Oh, Gwen.
This place doesn't really feel the same without him. I keep expecting to hear his laugh echoing down the hall.
Is
It's
her
not
full
an
plate
easy
for
thing to
casual
live with.
wear? Probably.
I'm sorry, both of you.
No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't... You wouldn't want us to sit around moping about it.
We gotta look some
It's
things up
just,
as after
it
the
sneaks up on
game
you
actually
sometimes, you know?
finishes. We gotta see if like, because there's a lot of
I
choices
should
to be
just
made in the game.
probably get
I
some
just don't know
actual
how
sleep.
much they
Real bad
actually
for
affect
once.
things.
It'll be a nice change of pace.
All right. Good night, Gwen.
Good night, Arthur. Oh, Father, you're still awake?
I am.
You look like crap. Shouldn't you be getting some sleep?
Funny to hear that coming from you. Guess being a busybody runs in the family.
That and, you know, the hair.
Yeah, that too. How are you holding up?
I'm not really sure yet. Been putting one foot in front of the other just fine, but everything feels different.
War does that to you. War and loss and time. And usually you don't feel yourself changing. So when it comes fast, it's dizzying.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like I've changed. It's here, Caliban. Or
Time for
no.
a
It's
change of
Varroa.
scenery, Gwen. Go see
Can come
Mom.
across it all. There's so
Go see
many
Mama Marin.
memories. And so many of them are bad. It's a struggle to hold on to the good. But I have to, don't I? If I let go of the good times, then is there even anything left? But worse, I don't know if I can ever make better memories again. It feels like the good times are behind me now, for good. I mean, is it even possible for us to live a normal life? Is it even right? Because I keep wishing I could take it all back. I'm not even sure what I'm fighting for anymore.
Gwen,
Not fighting anymore.
earlier today, I had a historian come up to me asking about you.
Oh, really? And what did this historian want?
He wanted my opinion on what title he should call you by. Commander of the Order, or other such obvious things. But that wasn't all. Liberator of Varroa, Bane of Azvarel, Death's Bane, Hope-bringer, the second hero of Terrazael.
He come up with those himself?
If not, he'd better hire new help. But do you see, Gwen? That man, he believed those titles. All of them. And for so many people, you are the good worth holding on to. You are the good memories. You keep them moving forward. And maybe you're right, and you didn't change. Maybe this was always who you were. Maybe you just didn't notice the signs. But everyone around you finally sees what I've always seen in you. A hero. Somebody above all of this. Somebody worth the title. More worthy than I ever was.
Father, I just...
Sadness.
I miss him so much.
Sadness.
I know, honey. I know. And I know your brother would be proud to see you now.
So, be honest. This business in Cosmere is more than just work to you, isn't it?
As always, you see right through me. I don't think I can stay here. Not after everything that's happened.
Too many bad memories?
I'm a very, very powerful man, Arthur. Not the kind of power a throne can grant you. Real power. It terrifies me. You saw it yourself. how much my powers were relied on to see this war to its end. It was a good cause. However...
I understand. You don't want to be turned into a weapon.
Something like that. In Cosmere, for all the politicking and manipulation of the academics there, I was just another scholar. But here, Irving is a good man, but he sees results before he sees people. And my results are well documented. Getting away from all that, living my life as a man, not as a weapon, that's why I have to leave.
Then
I can respect that, Alden.
I guess I hope that goes well for you. We could all do with a little peace of mind these days.
Indeed. I should begin packing. The sooner I leave, the fewer meetings I'll have to sit through. If you'll excuse me.
Alden, before you leave, I need to ask you something important. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I believe I do, yes. Though I may not have the answers you're looking for.
That's all right. Just try.
I was gonna say, we never got, like, a understanding
place in the
of
world
Arthur's
was.
scenario.
I was a member of the Order, a Sildarin, an adventurer, but now I've been a soldier, a leader, even an aberration. I've seen the way you look at me sometimes. Like you don't know me either. I used to know my father, my sister, my brother, but I don't anymore. Please, Uncle. If I can't know them, at least let me know this. Who am I, really? Is this still where I belong?
Arthur Sildarin, you are still your father's son. Still a brother to your sister. Nothing can take that away from you. Whatever we've lost, it may change us, but it can never erase us. We persist.
That's not an answer to who
we
he
rebuild.
is.
You are whatever you feel you need to be. That's what we all are in the end. I love you, Arthur. You'll always belong here, in my heart, my mind, my family.
Uncle.
Look at us. Seems to me we both could use some rest. Get some sleep, okay? I'll talk to you in the morning.
It didn't answer what the fuck is
Good
up
night,
with Arthur.
Alden. Whatever I need to be.
With the war behind them, Gritania began the long road towards restoration, guided by her allies and what remained of her leadership. However, in the wake of the war, supplies were scarce. Still, the nation stood strong. When the Sylvans emerged from the ruins of their home, Queen Zanille at their head, it was Gritania who met them. Many were those who were saved by the Sylvans in the early days of the war, and so were the former tensions between them washed away as the two peoples became inseparable.
Aww, that's
the
nice.
newly appointed High Lord Aaron was quick to trust the elves, offering them both shelter and promises of a regrown Weald in exchange for labor and resources. Though it pained Zanille to do so, much of the ruined Weald was salvageable and was put to use in the restoration. Aaron's Gritania quickly became one of strength and toil, the land of the common man, free to define his own path. He became known as the Wandering Lord, his palace housing little save the local children, who played at being king upon his dusty throne.
Aww.
Opportunists and bandits plagued the ailing countryside, but stories abounded of a wandering stranger, garbed in obscuring robes, who wielded both blade and prayer. Those who claim to have met her remember her by her one-armed stance, and that when she spoke, it was as if Izin himself guided her words.
Garbed and obscuring both. I feel like that's telling us that's a character, but I don't know who that would be. By her one-armed stance. Huh. Yeah, that's curious. I don't know who that is indicating I don't know who that's supposed to be.
To the east, the elves of the Weald began a different reconstruction effort, fraught with hardships of their own. With much of the forest destroyed, the Sylvan people found themselves fearing for their future. Some chose to retreat to what small pockets of the Weald had survived. Others simply left, in search of a new home. Most, however, rallied to the words of Zanil, who preached a new vision of the future, one where the Sylvans could call all of Varroa their home and build a new Weald. Guiding her on her mission was Kamari, whose steely pragmatism served to temper the ambitious youth's wilder tendencies. However, as work began on restoring the forest to its former glory, he vanished without a trace. Speculation abounded as to his whereabouts, but Zanil never seemed bothered. She would tell all who asked that, whatever his reasons, he would never leave the Weald without cause. Meanwhile, to the west, Naja looked to their own future. With the loss of their navy, the wheel of Najan trade ceased to turn, throwing much of Hao Fen into chaos. As its leaders searched for solutions, however, its people outside the city took another tack. First, it was only a few stray wanderers, journeying to Gritania to offer a prayer for the fallen. Then it was groups, come to lend a helping hand. Then caravans, offering goods straight from where they were grown. No coin ever exchanged hands, nor was anything asked of those who accepted their aid. When asked why, the Najans would speak only of tides and look longingly out to sea, perhaps wondering if their old friend was watching over them even now. While Naja escaped from the war almost untouched, Miradar found its worst scars were born of their own hand. With King Imran deposed, the people looked to their archbishop to guide them. Munir, emboldened by the words of the Sildarans, proved an inspiring leader,
Still don't trust
capable
him.
not only of mending
Still
the
don't trust
wounds
him.
left by the war, but also the rifts between his people. While the road ahead looks rocky, the Miradan people remain bright-eyed and hopeful. The rest of Varroa, uninvolved as they were in the war, continued about business as usual. However, there was a palpable feeling in the air, all across the land. The feeling that a time of great change was upon them all, that this war was but the first of many upheavals, that Varroa, or perhaps all of Terrazale, was turning a new page, as one era ended and another began. An era, many hoped, of heroes. For many heroes were born or reborn in the fires of this war. Beneath the Order's banner they assembled, a new generation of names for the history books. As the curtain fell upon their battle, they too found their work had only just begun.
Saxon, returning home to Haven, received a hero's welcome. However, behind each smiling face, he saw the scowls that had so characterized his life before the Order. It didn't take long for Saxon to leave again, returning to Celeborn, returning home.
Cassandra stayed with the Order, devoting herself to caring for those who had been left permanently injured by the war in Gritania. Still as private as ever, she would often mourn in silence for the patients she lost, praying that each would be the last.
Feeling an obligation to help her former homeland, Valeria got involved in rebuilding Azvarel. She found her assistance was met with hostility more often than not, but she pushed on regardless, winning over her detractors with her boundless enthusiasm and considerable competence.
Upon his return to Celeborn, Benji dodged the excited crowds to do something no Benji had ever done before. He visited a library, hoping to learn something that could help the Order rebuild. He became crucial to the Wheel's restoration efforts, a role that he strived to be the very best at, just as he always had.
Okay.
Zanil took to her duties as Sylvan Queen with uncanny ease, devoting nearly every waking moment to leading her people. It was only those closest to her who knew how she wept for all she had lost, and how alone she felt.
A lot of these aren't
Drowning
happy
in
endings.
unfathomable grief and bereft of a target for his rage, Kamari disappeared from Varroa. He hardly told a soul of his intentions, but what few he confided in knew only that he was
Not
searching
everything should
for
be happy.
something.
Yes, it's the end of a war.
Something he had spent
But goddamn,
all his life searching for.
With the war over, Zuhair did as he always had. He wandered. His nearly bottomless well of optimism brought a ray of hope to many a hopeless soul. While he would love to tell you he did this only to see them smile, he was always quick to point out his empty coin pouch, and would often share meals with those too unfortunate to pay him.
Shocking everybody, Eve requested a permanent place within the Order upon the
doesn't
war's
actually shock
end.
me that much.
Her idea of justice had been shaken by all she had seen, but she knew she had never been better equipped to carry it out than she was now. She would become their head of information, a masterful spy master with a legendary mean streak.
Unsurprising.
Halron went home to his people, with the intent to become their chieftain once again. However, it wasn't long before he'd decide he had changed too much to lead this quiet people in their sleepy town. He spoke to the Shamak one last time, reminiscing on their storied past. Then, he departed from Naja, determined to cure his old friend of his madness.
Having shed her prior prejudices, the Lady Iman made it her life's goal to end the divisions between the Vanthites and the Shusani.
Nice.
While the other nobles of her house pushed back at first, Mashal proved to be an unstoppable force, dragging her countrymen kicking and screaming into a new era, whether they liked it or not.
With the answers she sought still out of reach, Aya left the Order, becoming a wandering scholar of sorts. Her experiments brought her ever closer to the brink every day, but as she stared into that abyss and saw only herself staring back, her resolve was only ever redoubled. She would find out who she was, no matter what it
This
took.
feels like a missed scenario
With his
because
debt to
we
the Order
chose not to
repaid,
let her
and his mission
keep the
to
sword.
Varroa seemingly a failure, Tusk nonetheless made the journey overseas with his spirits high. Upon his arrival, he sought to impart the lessons he had learned to his people, mending their divisions, just as the Order had mended Varroa's.
While her dream of peace between the Orcs and the Varroans had seemingly hit a dead end, Larai was never one to give up. With the Order's support, she worked tirelessly to make her voice heard, hoping to leverage this time of great upheaval to further her cause.
Despite her best efforts, Taldera
Taldera's such a weird
for
one.
the damages to her theater.
It's a
She
little
couldn't be
odd
too
having
mad,
the
of
voice
course,
actor
as she was
read
repaid
their character's ending.
100-fold
Yeah, I could see
by the
that.
reception to her latest masterpiece. A lightly embellished play recounting a first-hand account of the Great War that shook the foundations of
On
the
one
earth.
hand, it's kind of
She
neat. On the other hand,
became
it
a
is kind of
household
weird.
name
Right?
almost
So it's
overnight. Again!
For all the talk of unity, Viserion found there was little place for a man like him in this new Varroa. Labeled a traitor in his homeland, and a murderer in lands without. Feeling he had no other options, Viserion pledged himself to the Order, hoping to earn the right to call Varroa his home once again. A right that, in truth, he was being unduly denied.
Her mission completed, Calith returned home to Moonvale.
So little
There,
information about
she made
Moonvale.
her report to her handlers. Thus did she and the other Moon Elves begin the grim work of preparing for whatever the next great threat may be.
The Grand Master of the Order returned to his mountaintop keep, a hero for the second time. He didn't allow himself a single day of rest before burying himself in his work once again. Perhaps out of dedication to Varroa, perhaps out of fear of the memories an idle mind might linger on.
Unsatisfied with merely having won the war, Alden would get to work researching the cause of the year's magical phenomena. He dared not tell a soul, but he breathed a sigh of relief upon escaping from Caliban's
He told one
long
soul. He
shadow,
told Arthur.
feeling as though
Little
he had
fourth wall
finally
breaking,
escaped
yeah.
the specter of war that had clung to him so tightly for so long.
Arthur was filled with frustration, having dug deeper inside himself than ever before and having found only more questions. Despite this, the youth reluctantly put a halt to his introspection for the one thing he valued more: the health of his sister, who needed him now more than ever. Nonetheless, the thought remained, Alden's words ever echoing in his mind.
Every day, Gwyn would be told she was a great hero, the savior of Varroa, the herald of a bright new future. She wondered often how many times she needed to be told before she could start believing it herself. Nonetheless, she had a new resolve within her. Perhaps she did not need to believe it. Perhaps the belief of others was all she needed. If the world looked upon her as a hero,
can I help you?
Then a hero she would be.
Can I help you, tiny baby?
For perhaps the world only sees heroes when it feels it needs them the most.
Yeah, Mom.
While gathering the last of his belongings from what used to be Reardon's quarters, Gwyn found a small notebook, hidden from sight. Flipping through it, Gwyn was shocked to find it full of poetry. It was sloppily written, overly saccharine, and earnest to a fault, just like the boy was in life. She keeps it on her, even now. Just one of 1,000 ways his legacy lingers on in the lives of all those he met.
Cat hair everywhere.
Though none would dare spill such secrets, many a soul would see Valyria sitting alone in all the spots he once frequented, sometimes crafting small shrines of remembrance, sometimes offering a prayer, but often just in tears, lost in simple grief.
In the end, the Order of Eternals would all be remembered as heroes. Their legacy was not just their own, but that of all Varroa, as the Order's way would soon become the way of all the land. In a time rife with misery, the Order was ever there to extend a helping hand, meeting the unwavering hostility of Varroa with an uncommon vulnerability. Many would say that their compassion was what saved Varroa, and such was how its people would live, unto an uncertain future, hand in hand, undivided and unafraid.
Hello, kitty. Alright, pretty cool. Congratulations on beating Dark Deity 2. You can now finish up any remaining challenges or play training missions for fun, but there is no more story content remaining. Consider trying a new playthrough on a new difficulty or with some of our extensive campaign customizations like random recruitment. There are a shit ton of campaign customizations. Absolutely shit ton of campaign customizations. Really cool. I've already started noodling around with some of them. From the small team at Sword and Axe, we hope you had fun with DD2. We really appreciate you playing. We poured a lot of love into this game. We can't wait to show you what comes next when it is time. The story of the Sildarians is far from over. A wild amount of customization. Epic! Hell yeah, agreed. So, let's talk about the game. I wanna check something real quick. How much do the decisions in DD2 matter? Story-wise, the game has no bad endings or anything like that. Choices have consequences that stretch beyond the immediate future, especially in the final third of the game. You're not going to be locked out of any content or miss a true ending or anything like that. Okay, that's kind of what I expected. Reardon dies. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. That answered the questions. Okay. All characters. Now I want to see, are there characters based... Are there different characters based on different choices? Or are the characters we got the characters you get? Looks like the characters we got are the characters you get. Okay, that answers that question. Cool. All right, then, with that information known to us, I feel like I can talk about the game and how I feel about it. So first up, I think the very, very good. This game has excellent gameplay. This is a phenomenally done entry. The second game, as far as I'm aware, of Sword and Axe, the second game in the Dark Deity series. It is a vast improvement over Dark Deity 1. In just about everything, right? There are things I really like in Dark Deity 1. I really like certain concepts in it, but overall the game had some issues, right? It had some UI issues. The UI in Dark Deity 2 is it's excellent. It all works exactly as it should. Maybe the only thing is kind of like the UI covering up map elements on the occasion, but that's like a minor inconvenience. Everything is very responsive. Everything makes sense on where it is. There are things that I would say like you could optimize a little more, like giving like ordering results other than just like who's highest experience. Being able to order based off of like weapon usage or things like that would probably be pretty cool. Or some other like scenario where you're like, let me click axes and it'll show all my axe people. Let me click swords, it'll show my swords people, etc., etc. That whole scenario. So gameplay wise, great. Probably one of the better, if not the best, classic Fire Emblem style game in the recent past, right? So when I say classic Fire Emblem style game, I mean like that kind of 2D aspect of a Fire Emblem game. I'm not counting the modern Fire Emblem games, although I think this game is better than something like Engage, just as an entire package. But from the just like 2D plane, that whole kind of concept, the way old Fire Emblem games were prior to Emblem, right? This game is excellently done in that style. Super fantastic. The customization between weapons and runes, rings, abilities, and the passives that you get from classes is exceptionally well done and very, very cool. I do think there is optimization to be done in all of this, right? I think the fact that you can only get so, like, I think the fact that some abilities feel kind of like dead abilities, some ability upgrades feel a little wonky. I think that'll change depending on how people like to play, and different people in different classes. But I still think even with the kind of like best case scenario there, the execution probably gets like a B, but the concept is an S, right? It's really, really, really cool how much flavor these abilities have and how neat they are, and there's so many fun combinations that you can do, etc., etc. I think that the rings are a really cool kind of like side system that can add a lot of power. I did find it a little disappointing that you can only make one of each ring. And there's a lot of rings that I feel like, again, are kind of dead rings, but probably other people are going to play with them and play with them well, so that's not something I would criticize greatly. I would say maybe like up the limit of how many of each ring you can make to like 2 would be cool, because there's a lot of rings that are really neat rings, but only being able to ever make one of them feels meh, feels not great, right? And then the weapons, I think, are really cool. There was a good variety of weapons for a game like this. I think the rune system on top of those weapons was quite neat. It was pretty intuitive, didn't really have to like fuss over a lot of things. I think there is, again, kind of like the rings and kind of like the abilities, there is room for improvement, because there were plenty of like scenarios where it feels like maybe this is a dead kind of like situation. Not as much, because with runes it really matters what the stats of the character already are, right? Like an ability that feels wonky is like, it doesn't matter what the stats of the character are, this ability is going to feel wonky kind of regardless, right? Some of them it'll matter, but a lot it'll be like, I don't really care about this ability, period, right? Outside of very niche situations. So the runes felt better than the abilities did, because a lot of them are very dependent on, well, did you make this person this class and what are their stats, right? But there are still runes that feel like very dead runes, right? So weapons and runes, rings and abilities, right? Really cool systems that I think could use some tweaking, just a little bit of enhancement here or there, maybe like additional options or like fixing some of the ones that feel like more dead. But overall, right, so that feels, when I'm saying that, it feels like that's kind of a meh reaction. But in reality, it plays out great. Because even when you have things that are like, oh, this feels kind of dead, it doesn't matter, because you have so many other fucking good options, so many good abilities, so many cool rings, so many cool runes, and the fact that they all work together to create this entire package, to be able to, you know, like, the thing we did with Benji for the longest time was just silly to me. Like, he has such high power, and you can ramp his power up so high, and then give him a ring where he gets dodge based on half of his power. And suddenly he's dodging things that he really shouldn't be dodging, because he has no fucking speed. And it's really fun. It's really cool and neat to see those different types of interactions. The class system, really, really cool. I do love how... there are mixed feelings, but I do, in general, love that I'm a very, very big symmetry person. So I love that there are 4 in this class tree, characters that are going to be in this class tree. There are 4 that are going to be in this class tree. There are 4 that are going to be in this class tree. And you can basically go, okay, well, I'm going to have one of every class, which is exactly what we did. And that was a whole lot of fun. Obviously, I think, you know, certain classes are going to be superior to others. Saxons, this Stormkeeper shit is insane. Guys, Stormkeeper shit, insane. 100%. But a lot of the classes are really, really cool. And, of course, the way the different characters with their different abilities, in their different classes, with their different gear, interact with each other makes the gameplay absolutely amazing, wonderfully done. The only thing about like room for improvement is it's just more of a good thing. It's absolutely spectacularly well done. Like I said, probably the best classic Fire Emblem gameplay system in recent memory. Maybe ever, right? Like, because this takes so many good elements of those styles of games, and it does all of them very, very well, and improves upon them, and adds its own unique systems, and it's fucking excellently well done, right? As a person who loves symmetry, I absolutely hated that when we lost Reardon, I didn't hate that we got Irving instead. I didn't hate that. I absolutely hated that when we lost Reardon, Dad replaced him and was not the same class tree. Which makes perfect sense. Why would Dad be that class tree, right? But that made it really annoying to me because we had Gwen, right? In that class tree. We had Valeria in that class tree. We had Viserion in that class tree. We had Benji in that class tree. That's 4 motherfucking people. And then now we have Irving in that class tree, and now we have 5 in that class tree. And that just makes my mind very unhappy. Who got fucked? The Zanil class tree. So the Zanil, Tusk, Eve class tree got screwed over. And that just being OCD for symmetry, that just really upset me. I'm like, yeah. And obviously, right, like the scenario there is maybe just have Reardon be a seeker from the very beginning, right, rather than a quick draw. Like if you want, Reardon is a bow character, right? So just have Reardon be a seeker at the beginning of the game. If you want to change him to something else, you can change him to something else. But that way, when Dad comes in, Dad is the 4th, still replacing a 4th in this class tree. And then you make one of the others, you know, fucking something else, right? So Viserion's not in this class tree. He's in this class tree, right? Something like that. Who knows? I feel like as classes go, I liked the vast majority of the classes. There were definitely classes that I liked more so than others. I think that's going to be your mileage varies as you play through the game. In this type of game, everyone's going to have their own favorite characters, their own favorite classes, their own favorite abilities. That's all fine. That's all fine. And I think it all works perfectly fine. I can get into a lot of other nitty-gritty things. There are certain things about the system that I think are fine, but have feel-bad scenarios, right? So, like, promoting, right? Promoting from Tamer into Beastmaster. This is just a arbitrary example. It might not even happen in this case. But a lot of times when you promoted from a lower tier class into a higher tier class of the same type, right? Because it makes sense if you're going from like Cutthroat to Beastmaster. But a lot of times when you were promoting from a lower tier class into a higher tier class, you would actually lose growth in stuff, which feels bad, right? Like it never feels good to promote into something that is supposed to just be a better version of what you're already doing. And for some reason, you're losing growth in that something. Makes sense if you're cross-classing, right? Cutthroat into Warden, or Ranger into Beastmaster, or what have you. But it feels weird when you're going from one straight down and you lose growth. So I didn't like that. Probably not something I would recommend. It just makes your player go, why? Right? But honestly, a small complaint at the end of the day. I didn't really like, this is another thing, playing around with cross classes is another wide avenue of making this game customizable and giving you so many options. So the systems in this game are fantastic. Individually, I think each one of them can use little improvements here or there, little optimizations, little tweaks, etc., etc. But overall, as a whole, the systems are amazing and they make the gameplay feel amazing. Comparatively, talking about gameplay, comparatively to the first game especially, the maps were generally so significantly better in this game than they were in the first game. There's so much more to do. There's so much more stuff. A lot of the Dark Deity 1 maps were just very empty. There's so much more terrain, so much more stuff around and about. So many more things to kind of like, maybe not interact with. No, I'd say interact with, right? With the bushes, with the little fortified spots, with sitting on boxes, all of the shit. Really well done, right? There are a couple of bad apples, right? The fog maps in particular, I feel like are kind of handled poorly. I don't think many people enjoy fog maps, but I can go into a fog map and be like, yeah, okay, cool, let's go with this, right? But in order to do that, you need to have good ways of managing the fog, and the game doesn't really present you with any good ways of managing fog. In fact, it presents you, more than anything, it presents you with bad ways of managing the fog. So that makes that feel bad, right? But overall, the maps are really well done, and the addition of side objectives, one, to get you rewards, but two, to just make the maps more challenging, is amazing. It's so good. There were so many maps, especially in the early game. Towards the late game, you know, we were so powerful that it started to get cruisy. But in the early game especially, we had multiple situations where it felt like we had to really rush and try to clutch things out and kind of like push, or else we weren't going to get the side objectives. And that made the game feel awesome. It was really cool, right? I do appreciate that the pacing of the game and the inclusion of the training mechanic, which we really didn't have to use ever. I don't feel like we ever had to use it. We just did 2 maps, and that was mostly because I just wanted to see what was going on. I do like its inclusion there, because I like that the game doesn't punish you for using everyone. It's very quick to level someone up that is under-leveled just by pulling them into the map. And if you watched us play, right, like we basically went bottom 10 characters every single time. Or bottom 9 characters, because we always had to bring Gwen, which means she was never in the bottom. But I like that. That was really good. That does bring it to a little bit of a problem in the gameplay side of things, and it's kind of the same problem that Dark Deity 1 had. It's very easy in this game to become godly, to just smash the shit out of everything. If you have any kind of like good tactical mastery or understanding of like interacting with various abilities and passives and things like that, and stacking buffs and shit, it becomes extremely easy to do shit like we did in that last fight, where we sent Zuhair off on the side and we were like, hey, no one can hurt him. Go. Right? That's what many difficulties and customization is for. Yes, that is what many difficulties and customization is for. Right? So if you change the difficulties, you're gonna alter how that works out. I don't remember what difficulty we were playing on. I think we were just playing on Hero, because it was just normal, right? But, you know, there is Deity, there's more enemy spawns, increased enemy stats, harder game over conditions. So there is all of that, right? Demonics, not balanced. Yes. So that's not a well, I want to make that clear. When I say it's very easy to become overpowered, I don't want that to mean like the game is super easy. Because most of the challenge of the game is ensuring that you complete the side objectives and beat it in the turn limit and stuff like that, right? And I would assume that on the harder difficulties that becomes more difficult. However, I would also assume that if you're playing on the harder difficulties, you're probably not playing with every single character. You're probably just playing with a core of 10. So those 10 are going to be higher level. They're going to have optimized rings. They're going to have the best gear, the best runes. They're going to have all of the elixirs that you get. All of their abilities are going to be maximized first, right? So like when I was playing with everyone, I was constantly spreading resources around, right? Which made things more challenging because people weren't as strong as they necessarily could be, right? And even then, I was still getting to the point to where I was steamrolling the game. So if you're looking for an incredibly challenging game, I don't know. I'm not gonna say the game isn't. I don't know how hard demonic is, but I don't feel like Deity is going to be the answer. I feel like people who want to play this for a real challenge and know how the game works, coming into Deity, unless you're doing something weird with the other settings, probably not going to be enough. And I don't know how hard demonic is, right? So, it is a situation. So that is again, like Dark Deity 1, that was a complaint that some people had, was it was very easy to become overpowered as fuck in Dark Deity 1. And part of that was due again to the systems in it. But also it's kind of just a way that games like this go. Even in like Fire Emblem games and stuff like that. Often, especially if you're just using a specific core set of characters, you get to the point to where you just kind of steamroll everything. Because that's kind of the design of how a strategy game like this works, right? So it's a complaint, but it's not a massive complaint. It's just something for people to be kind of like aware of and cognizant of. And it would be really cool if the devs continue to work on that. As they move forward with games, continue to work on like additional options for tweaking the difficulty. Maybe not necessarily by like always making it pick this harder difficulty, you're gonna have a harder time. But like even in just the middle of this game, being able to like add in functionality to give the enemy a better chance, right? Like more reinforcements, right? Like reinforcements can really break things up. Giving, I don't know. There's ideas, but I don't want to talk about it for 3 hours, so it be what it be, right? Just something to consider. Music, great. Love the music. It's probably not the greatest soundtrack on the face of the planet. That's what a podcast is for, right? That's what a podcast is for, not the tail end of this YouTube series that no one is gonna watch, right? Music, really well done. I think they have some really good tracks. A lot of it is kind of background, but overall, I think it services very well. Other sound considerations, the voice acting I thought was pretty good, you know? Again, not the greatest ever done. Most of the core characters I thought were pretty damn good. Some of the side characters are a little wonky. Like you mentioned earlier, the characters reading their own endings feels a little weird. I feel like it would have been better for the narrator to do that. It's more narration kind of stuff. And that probably brings us... No, I'm going to talk about this first. No, I think I can tie it all in together. Let's talk about, like, actual... The game, the story. And in talking about the story, you've also got to talk about characters and the setting and everything like that. I really enjoy the Dark Deity world. I really enjoy Terrazale, which I believe is the world itself, and Varroa is pretty cool. I enjoyed our experience in this game. The problem I have with it is there's so much other fucking land that we didn't do anything with. There's a city, a named city up here. There's a named city right here. There's this cool sheep island. There's this other named city here. What the fuck is the Trader's Isle? What's going on there? What is this? That seems cool. What is this big mountain scenario with... Is this where the orcs are? Question mark? I don't know. We dipped into Nausea, but we only went to Halfen, right? We've got all these other interesting places down here. We've got... There's a fucking volcano with a dragon flying out of it, right? More... Maybe this is where the fucking orcs are from. Maybe there's just orcs everywhere. Mardural, right? Mardural is this massive fucking city. Massive city. We don't visit it, right? We visit Threlisar. We come up here. We hear all about the Cosmere University. We don't go there, right? There's all these frozen wastes. We were up there for a very small amount of time. So there's the Moonvale. We heard about the Moonvale. Calith is from the Moonvale. We don't actually interact with the Moonvale. So it hurts me because there's all of these really cool things that I think are really neat. They're on the map, and we don't get to experience them. And I'm going to circle back around on this thought after I talk about characters and the story. Generally speaking, I think the game does a great job with the characters. It's difficult in games like this, right? Like, you have a roster this large. It's difficult to make characters feel important past their unique circumstances. The game does a pretty good job of, we're in a new map. This is the person that is involved directly in this map, directly in this mission, right? And then we also pulled in someone else to talk about things. Okay, cool. Right? Like, you kind of you drag other people into the conversation to try to keep them relevant and everything like that. You have your core, your Gwyn, your Arthur, your Reardon, and then if you're dealing with Weald stuff, you're going to bring in Kamari and Zanil, etc., etc. And that makes perfect sense, and is a fine way to do things. Even then, there are characters that feel somewhat strange or somewhat dead, right? I think the later game ones are obviously kind of like the most apparent there. That being like, Taldera is like, why the fuck is she a part of this? And unfortunately, at the same time, kind of Tusk and Larai, which feels bad because it feels like they have really interesting stories. And I'm sure we get more of that through the bond system, which we'll talk more about bonds. But it just feels kind of unexplored and not really much of a thing. Kind of like Calith, who I think is a really cool character, and we hear about the Moonvale, and we get these like moments where Alden's like, y'all don't fuck with us. Don't fuck with Arthur. You know who I am. I will cause shit to happen, right? And that's a really cool moment. And then we really don't get much else in regards to who the fuck Moonvale and the Moon Elves even are, right? So there's a lot of like information, there's a lot of map, there's a lot of potential, and it feels like we don't explore a whole lot of it, right? The story itself, I think, is pretty okay, right? There are moments where I think the story is a solid A. There are moments where I think the story is maybe like a B-. There's never a moment where I think the story was just complete shite, but there also weren't a lot of moments where I was like, oh my god, holy shit, right? About the story specifically. There were like specific events where I was like, oh shit, you know, but from like the concept of weaving a story together and the characters' participation in that story, there weren't a lot of moments where I was just like, oh my god, this is the biggest thing. Also, this fucking dwarf just hanging out in this mountain, just drawn in here, right? So that's a thing, right? If I were to give the gameplay like an A or an S, right, I would probably give the story a step or two below that, right? It's good, it's perfectly serviceable, but it also isn't doing anything crazy. And while understandable in the direction that it took, with Gwen being very distraught about a lot of things, it did kind of drag on in certain spots, right? Especially in the concept to where it almost felt like Gwen was more distraught prior to Reardon's death than after Reardon's death, right? Obviously, she was extremely upset after Reardon's death, but like her struggle against the situation and the war itself, and her as a commander or leader or a hero for people to look up to, like she was struggling so hard with that for so long, and she continued that struggle after Reardon's death, but it almost felt as if like it was significantly less past that point. And maybe that was kind of the intention. Maybe his death was supposed to be like a catalyst for her or something like that. But it just came across as like a, wow. If she really hates this so much, why doesn't she just take a step back and let Arthur or Reardon handle it, right? And there were times where it kind of felt like maybe she would, if everyone else wasn't just like, no, you have to do it. So it kind of gets these weird hicky moments or pacing moments or moments where it's kind of like, okay, this is wearing a bit long kind of situation. But overall, I think the story is quite serviceable. There's some really cool moments, but it also feels like there's a lot of unexplored territory. Almost like the game could have been 40 or 50 maps instead of 30 maps. Kind of talking about 30 maps and everything like that. There's challenge maps in the game. There's like, I don't know, 6 or 8 or something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. And I don't really get the point of them. They give you items, and some of them, they're not unfun to play, but they don't strike me as being more fun to play than just another story map, right? I'm sure it doesn't take much to put together just like a challenge map, because, you know, it's probably just pulling assets and then being like, okay, what's the challenge of this map? Here's the enemies. There you go. Done. It's probably easy to make them. In which case, maybe make more of them or don't do them at all, right? Like, it kind of feels like the amount that existed in the game was a small amount, and it was kind of like just a little distraction. It was like, I would rather have had just more story maps, right? I would rather have had we had 2 fights in Britannia. We fought in the Tri-Towns. No, we had 3 fights in Britannia, right? Yeah, we had when we rescued Aaron, we actually fought in Tri-Towns, and then we fought in East, right? But so maybe, you know, maybe some of that time could have been spent going to some of these other locations or exploring other portions. That being said, I fully understand that, you know, that is actual dev time. That's actual more writing. That's more voice work. That's more, you know, elongating the game means you're balancing the game around the concept that it's longer. So you're probably having to rebalance things for, you know, how much experience do you get? How fast do you get levels? Or do you go further into levels, etc. So I get that what I'm asking for is not like a simple thing. It's just a feeling that I got that the game probably could have been longer on story and less on other stuff going on. Speaking of other stuff going on, I don't know. It's a classic thing. It's a classic Fire Emblem thing to have these types of scenarios, to have bonds. I don't like it that much. And don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like these conversations. I think that a lot of these conversations, because I know you read some people criticize bonds and they're like bonds or whatever the equivalent is. They'll come in and they'll be like, oh, they're stupid or they have bad writing or things like that. Almost every single one of the bonds that we read through, I thought was really cool. It was either a moment of levity or it was a serious conversation that those characters needed to have or whatever, right? That's great. I honestly thought that was the conversations themselves were perfectly fine. It's just the way that you get bonds feels very kludgy to me in games like this, right? Having to have this character near this character when this character does a thing, and then after that happens, no matter where you are in the game, no matter what the relevance of the conversation, then you can go into the menu and then you can have that conversation. And it just feels very like, it feels like it would be better to just write good conversations between characters in the actual story. Between the Tri-Towns and Decent Hope, these 6 characters have 3 conversations, right? And maybe you don't want to force players to sit through those conversations, but just have it be like in this menu, right? So we're in the select mission menu, right? You have, here's your next mission, and over here you have, oh, these are the next 3 conversations that you've unlocked. But they're there. They're in this moment. They're relevant to the things that are happening then and those characters and how those characters feel about the situations and what their reactions are to each other in those moments, etc., etc. It's just bond conversations have always felt weird to me and will always feel weird to me in the way that they happen kind of disconnected from the story. But yeah, overall, extremely good gameplay, perfectly acceptable story, a great example in the genre of how to improve things, how to make things really cool. I've never seen this before, right? Like, this right here, probably the biggest thing, is these fucking abilities. Getting abilities on your class, right? Active abilities, not a bunch of fucking passives, right? Like, not oh, my person gets +2 movement speed, and my person can cavalier, and my person gets, this boost to this scenario, etc., etc. This game has all of those still. It still has passives. It still has, You know, you get a lot of that shit with like the runes and everything like that, right? But just the active abilities are so fucking cool in a strategy game like this. Really, truly, honestly made the game amazing to play because you're like, oh, cool. It's not just attack. It's not just move up and hold this position. It's attack from 6 squares away with this ability. It's nuke a whole fucking square with this ability. It's buff this person beyond belief with this ability. It's buff yourself, do something for a turn. On the next turn, teleport behind some Billy badass and decapitate him because you crit for 180 damage. Right? Like, that shit's really cool. The ability is super well done. I could gush. There's too many things to gush about. Let's talk about a couple of what I think are kind of bad things. There aren't a lot, right? Like, there aren't a lot that I didn't already cover as far as like, oh, this could be improved, or oh, I didn't really like this, or what have you, right? From the concept of legitimate bad, what I think is maybe kind of like actually leaning towards bad. The ending that we just got there tonight feels... It feels... How to say this? It feels unsatisfying. Which, on one hand, is honestly probably the most realistic way for a scenario like this game to end. Right? Honestly, it was a terrible series of events, a horrible war, and the end represented that because it did not feel especially triumphant. It did not feel especially good. The that in and of itself is not a bad thing, right? You can have a story. You can have novels, right? Or even a rare few video games that are so well written that they have you crying by the end of it because it's so incredibly tragic and heart-wrenching. And you still like those things because it's so well done. So the concept of not everything is great as an ending is fine, but you need your story to be really good for the player to feel like that sort of story or that sort of ending is good. And this doesn't quite hit the mark, right? Like, I don't know if it's the elongated, time between Reardon's death, going to the Weald, going to Vasily, going up to Turalis, etc., etc. It maybe it's the fact that I only play the game, once or twice a week, but it didn't feel like it had impetus, and it also just felt like the overall pacing of the story didn't lead to the relatively morose ending that we got. Now, that is one of the reasons why I looked up things, right? It is very possible that depending on the choices that you make throughout the game, you get variations on the ending. But from what I read, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I read, those variations are subtle in some cases and legit in other cases. Probably a good example is going to be, things will probably be different for Arthur. Things will probably be different for Aya. If you selected to do it her way rather than do it Arthur's way, right? Like that whole shebang, right? So there's wiggle room there for my opinion, because I don't necessarily know exactly how that works out. But in the way that things panned out for us, it does feel like kind of a meh ending. A bunch of people are unhappy. A bunch of people leave. We try to rebuild. There's a lot of like issues with some of the people rebuilding, but at the same time, all of Aroa is marching forward, together, right? So it feels like a kind of a split decision there. Like we're getting mixed signals, and it just doesn't land especially well. I don't know that I am a big fan of the tell rather than show ending of a storyline. Again, this is a thing that happens very frequently with these style of games where you have these large casts, and it makes perfect sense that they're all going to split up and go their separate ways at the end of the game. But doing the whole, like, here's this character, and here's what they did after, there are cool things about that, but as a core portion of the ending, it feels bad as a delivery service. I would rather, if your concept of an ending is to we need to know what everyone is up to, right? I would rather see some of those things. See Zanil and Kamari working together to restore the Weald, rather than be told that's what they're doing. See them work together to restore the Weald. Have Zanil go to sleep in the scene, and then when she gets up the next day, she's informed that Kamari's nowhere to be found. Right? Like, show us, don't tell us. Would feel better. It would make the moments feel more real and allow them to come across, I think, with the gravitas that some of them deserve, depending on the situation. And then the other thing is again, just like with the fact that some characters felt kind of dead because we didn't really explore some of the things that I felt like we wanted to explore. Like, again, I don't feel like we know that much about Tusk or Larai. It would have been really cool to know more about them. It would have been really cool to know more about Kaelin. To get answers on what the fuck is going on with Arthur. Maybe we just made the wrong choice there. Maybe the answers do exist in the game. Having Taldera be not weird, right? Like, more stuff like that. That being said, even though I think the ending of the game is kind of like a legitimate low point, I still think the game is absolutely worth playing. Still think the game is very fun, very, very good overall. And to be clear, when I say it's a low point, I don't mean it's abysmal. I mean it's not as good as the rest of the game, you know? Overall, I would probably give this a relatively high score. Probably like a 7.5 or an 8 or something like that. Definitely room for improvements, primarily on the storytelling side of things. While I do think that there's always room for improvement in everything, tweaking, runes and weapons and abilities and rings and whatnot. I think that system as a whole, the gameplay system, is excellent. Barring a few hitches here or there, it's wonderfully presented and it's incredibly fun. And I think the story is serviceable. Probably a little bit better than serviceable. There were definitely moments where I was like, oh, yeah, I'm into this. So, like a B-, right, on the story. If this developer can take this momentum and make another game that has as interesting and well-meshed systems as this game, doesn't have to be the same, right? Can be different, but as interesting and well-meshed to deliver the level of gameplay in this game, but also improve their storytelling, their characterization, their pacing. If they can do that, then I think the next game they put out is going to be a fucking banger. I think if they're able to do that, I would be surprised if the next game they put out isn't one of the best strategy games in its decade. Honestly. Because this game is pretty close, but not quite there. Gameplay-wise, definitely one of the best. Story-wise and pacing, not as much, right? Story, characters, it's good, but it's not like, oh my god, good, right? Anyways, I think that's probably it. Again, I'm too long-winded. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. But absolutely fantastic game. Really happy to have played it. And I am actually going to be playing more of it. So, legitimately, if we go to main menu, if you go into new game and you go into campaign modifiers, there are so many things in here that are so fucking cool. Which is really, 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 really neat. Like, super duper 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 neat. And I am probably going to be playing the game again with a lot of these things. Definitely going to be doing randomized recruitment. Probably going to be fucking around with empowerments and shit like that, right? So, I think that's really, really neat. I love that this is a base part of the game, that this is just straight up included from the very beginning, and it's super awesome. So, yeah. Really good shit. Check it out. Dark Deity 2. Worth it. Doing that on stream, or is that on my own time kind of deal? That's going to be on my own time kind of deal. Right. I definitely want to, I want to move on to another game. I really want to get into Expedition 33. So that is the next kind of like scenario. I could see myself, right, like, I do plan on playing this in my own time, again, with a lot of, like, modifiers turned on. So depending on how that goes, I could see myself randomly being like, okay, well, I'm really into this right now. Tonight we're streaming this. But just asking for the master list, yes, we're done with this game as far as the master list is concerned. Really cool game. Really recommended. And right now, in the summer sale, game is 20% off, and it is only $20. This game is a fucking steal for $20. We put almost 60 hours into it just with this playthrough. Definitely worth the money for $20 there. Worth the money for it's only 20% off, so it's only $25 normally. Worth every penny. Period. Definitely worth every penny when you get it on sale. And I'm gonna be keeping an eye on the devs, because I really hope. I think everything about this game was an improvement over the first one, including the storytelling and including the gameplay. I think the gameplay improved this much over Dark Deity 1, and the story improved this much over Dark Deity 1. I really, really, really want them to keep this level of gameplay into their next scenario and really, really bring up that kind of like storytelling to the next level. And if they do that, I think they're gonna be the best strategy RPG devs out there, period. And that's saying something. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. We should be back tomorrow with either some more D&D or something else. Maybe we'll sneak in like some Vesperia if people aren't around for D&D. that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.